Alrighty, let's see what we got today. All right, it is Sunday. Campaign features triple the farrier pile. That sounds really significant. And fawning applies to soothsayer and duplicate. So fawning is the trait that says whenever you gain a province, you get a copy of that card. Soothsayer in particular, perhaps duplicate though to a lesser degree. This card you don't really want to gain a bunch of, especially late in the game. It's a card if you want it, you want like one copy and early. So that sounds like a disincentive to taking early provinces. Sometimes it can be a threat, though, in that buying provinces also lowers piles, and then that becomes a reason in favor of greening early if emptying provinces is also coming with an additional 3 pile threat. We'll see. Uh, the farrier pile being 30, I think, is really significant because the farrier on pay effect, where when you buy it, you pay much money and draw much cards, is a rather strong and efficient way of getting draw. And I think if you had unlimited access to this, the correct strategy would often be just put a ton of money towards overpaying farrier every single turn. Like you put one or two good cards in your deck you want to draw to, and then you just put all your excess money to draw in your whole deck, seeing those cards every single turn. You draw your 7 coppers, you put the money from the coppers into +7 cards next turn to redraw the coppers, and just keep your deck in your hands every turn. And then that often ends up not being an exclusive focus of the deck because if you both do that early, you each get to do that like 5 times, and then the figures go away, and you have to find a real source to draw, and you have to be planning in advance to pivot to that. With 30, the answer might just be click failure every single turn, and it's not going to run out. And that even seems doubly true with peasant around. So peasant advances up the line, and you eventually get teacher. I'm just imagining playing teacher and putting like plus card, for example, or plus action or something on the failure pile with like 15 copies of them in the deck. And then all of a sudden your deck kicks off. I kind of suspect the correct move here is going to be get a peasant, buy a bunch of farriers, and then eventually get plus card or whichever token ends up being most important, and then you go from there. The one other thing that seems most worth contemplating in relation to that goal is like, do you want to trash it all? Coppers don't seem like much of an impediment. If copper costs 1 money, but then 1 extra money draws you 1 extra card each turn, kind of breaking even. States are net negative in value for the deck. You're having to pay 3 extra money to drop through them each shuffle. So I could imagine taking an infirmary at some point and trashing them. Or maybe you just play with a bunch of barons and just try keeping the estates around. I don't think I love the split. They have like less money in the first hand and have 4 or 5 in the next hand for a big failure overpay on the first shuffle. I'm thinking maybe open Baron Peasant, and then ideally they don't collide, and then you play your Baron and you get a big overpay off. The Baron then maybe collides once with the Soldier, and then once you've got the Fugitive in your deck and the Disciple, then it becomes fine. I'm not sure. I'm gonna click Baron. I think on the 3/4, try to be Peasant Inferior. It still could be Peasant Inferior, and I would draw one less card. So I'm not gonna say that this is a better option. Oh, maybe I'm already second guessing this. Another option that would have been simple would just be adding a warehouse and then just sift past the 3 estates each shuffle. Could also have been a viable solution. We'll see. Okay, a bit of an unfortunate draw here. So play Baron, hit 5, overpay by 3, trigger a shuffle. I think I just want to get the peasant into play. And probably not a second peasant because I'll have 3 terminals in the short term, so I'll just take a settlers for now. Maybe that should have just been a barrier. My intuition is like don't lower the farriers when I'm not buying the farriers because I want there to be more of them because I benefit from that. But if there's like 28 to go around, maybe I should have just been doing that from the get-go. Okay, it's not as unlikely that they collided here, but it does seem that they are fated to collide in every shuffle. Now that I got Fugitive, which is non-terminal, that collision is going to be less of a concern. Discard a copper, pick a, yep, found the Baron. All right, this is a good turn. This is much more like it. I'll probably buy an infirmary soon to trash the curses that are coming from the bot soothsayer. I don't think those are much of a threat. Okay, so next turn I will have a disciple. So I think I could justify adding one more peasant now, and then overpay by 6 should hopefully be enough. Disciple is a village, so if I disciple the farrier, for example, I can play peasant and the baron. Next turn is going to be a little bit more awkward, because I'm going to have the teacher. Oh, teacher, soldier, and baron. Definitely can't play all three of those. I think it makes sense to buy a plaza to at least be able to play 2, or pay a bunch. Maybe I'll bottom deck 1. Alright, discard a copper, pick it back up. The settlers does have a decent amount of synergy in here. I think I care about the soldier more than the 2 extra money. Just getting that going. And then I want to add a warehouse. I'm just going to overpay for farrier. And I think it's worth spending the copper for 1 extra coin. Okay, teacher plus card on farrier looks good, especially given this current hand. Draw a bunch of stuff. Discard copper. Okay. So next turn I'll have a disciple. I'll have a teacher again to play. I'm probably going to want more barons and plazas in the near future. So I could like disciple 1 baron, get another baron. I'll need a second plaza, will I? If I want to play fugitive. Or sorry, not fugitive. Teacher, disciple 1 baron, the 3rd baron. Yeah, I think I need 1 more plaza for that to work, and then I'll just overpay again. I hope I've got enough draw for this. I didn't actually count it out. If I don't, it's not a problem. I'll just disciple something else. But the line I was considering certainly imagined me having a ton of extra draw. I have a copper left down there and a state. How many farriers? I honestly don't know. I think the odds that if I'm just gonna play the settlers anyway. Yeah, the odds that I drew, I think, were okay because I think most of it's cantrips and a few more farriers. The dead's not so bad. This just means I don't get to draw back around and play that baron for 4 more money. A bummer, but not a huge deal. Okay, now what? Do you think I want a warehouse? Maybe I can get 1 more peasant going up the line and big farrier. You don't want a second teacher. Pretty much never want a second teacher. Okay, now I think I'm fine on villages, so maybe plus coin on Baron. Could also been Plaza. I think I'm gonna play Baron more times in total, but that's not entirely clear. Bottom to 2 estates. It's kind of annoying because I was waiting to draw all 3 to do this. Oh, actually, this doesn't work. I mean, it's not like it works out terribly or anything. But I'm gonna have 1 action, 2 for you to play everything if I do it in this order. I think I'm gonna do it anyway. All right. Getting pretty close to being in very strong territory. Let's go ahead and buy. I could just buy a bunch more farriers. Plaza or 2, some farriers. Pay a bunch. I most certainly have not counted any of this out precisely. I'll still quite high. No big threat there. Bot is doing some nonsense I don't think makes much sense. So I probably could just build until 64 if I need to. Or feel like it or want to. Because I got 4 actions, 5 actions, one, two, three, four, 5 terminals to play. Did I? I'm one terminal short of being able to justify discipling Baron once again. Right, leave me with 6 terminals to play. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah. Whoops a daisy. I certainly were this bit more of a neck and neck game. I would have counted something like that more specifically when considering the buys. Let's have enough buys that there's probably going to be a ending on piles pretty soon. Okay. Alrighty. Let's take some more plazas and some more barons and some more farriers. And overpay a bunch. Alright, hard bots overpaid by a bunch, so its next turn will be pretty good. Already got plus coin on Baron. I can put plus buy on Plaza and then have just like unlimited buys. Plus action token. I think I should be good on actions now. Like I thought that before. Mhm. Got all the cards. It's my poor settlers. It's my settlers. Okay. See, I should have more than enough actions now to. Oops. Well, I do have enough actions, but it doesn't count if I don't play the plazas. So let's do that. Now I can disciple the Baron. Discard. I need to redraw a state 1 time. Can just get a bunch of coffers off the rest of these. Now with 3 left in there, I can play the warehouse. Just discard some curses and then a state. Discard. Discard. Okay. This is probably a win somewhere, right? You got 29 buys. Let's just start buying curses and assume things are going to work out. Usually is the case. When in doubt, I would just click that pile a bunch. And this is exactly enough to pile duchies. There we go. Okay, yeah. This is one of the ones where I think the bot was just far enough off that there wasn't very much pressure to play the correct deck. I don't think early Soothsayer looks very good here. Also, where did the Soothsayer go? I guess it got trashed. Uh, I mean, in a very general sense, putting money in your deck and buying Fear consistently is kind of a good strategy. The bot doesn't have Peasant, and Soothsayer seems like quite the necessary detour. I was planning on trashing the curses at some point, and then I don't know. There's never enough of them for it to be a concern. Were it to have become a concern, like I had like 4 pet curses, it could have easily solved that by just overpaying for failure or for infirmary 1 time. Alrighty.